Right. So, for the better part of the last month, I have been obsessed with one episode of Star Trek in particular. Obviously, you know which one it is because you clicked on the video. Arena, the original series first season episode. I've recently reviewed it for the main channel, link in the description. Go check it out. I think I'm pretty happy with how the review came out. The review process takes absolutely ages for me. I really just stress over every tiny little detail, particularly particularly Arena, because I know how much the episode means to a lot of people. A lot of the fans that I know cite Arena as being like one of the main reasons why they got into Star Trek. It's one of my dad's favourite episodes for that reason. It's one of my granddad's favourite episodes. I kind of get it. It's a pop culture moment, isn't it? Kirk versus the Gorn. It's something that a lot of people remember. But I don't think that makes the episode good. And, whether you agree with me or not, hopefully you'll agree that I made some pretty good points in my review. But what I like to try and do is I like to try and be as constructive as possible. Whether it's the original series, whether it's Discovery, doesn't really matter. I mean, it's a lot easier to be constructive when it's the original series. But I try and look at it from the perspective of, well, if I don't like that, if I don't like something, what would I change? What could I change if it was me sat in the seat writing it? So that's what I want to do here quickly, is I want to talk about the bits of the episode that I would remove and what I'd replace it with, because I think that there are a couple of changes here that could have really fundamentally altered Arena and made it an episode that isn't just beloved because Kirk versus the Gorn, but because it's actually a really bloody good episode. So first things first, the cold open, the way the episode starts with Kirk and the Enterprise arriving at Cestus 3, and they're having a chat with the Commodore, and they're talking about personal chefs and stuff like that, and they beam down to the planet, and it's a war zone, and a lot of shit's going down. A lot of this is fine, but the big thing that I would change is I would have it the Cestus 3 has basically gone dark. They've lost comms with the planet, so they've hastened their approach to try and get there quicker to find out what's going on. I would have it there's something in the region of space that makes long-range scans very difficult. So that would solve the issue of, well, how don't they know what's going on the planet? That would solve it. But the comms wouldn't exist. They wouldn't be having a conversation with the Commodore. I would begin the episode in the same kind of light way. I would have Spock, McCoy, Kirk walking down a corridor, head into the transporter room, and they're talking about looking forward to meeting the Commodore. They've heard good things about him. They know he's got a chef. They're looking forward to eating real food. You could have something where McCoy says something about being concerned about, not having heard from them, but then maybe Kirk could say something along the lines of, well, he's a fantastic diplomat, and we've read about his exploits in Starfleet as cadets, and we know he can handle himself, something like that. So they're not really that worried. They beam down to the planet's surface. Boom, everything's going down. It's not good. This would also kind of remove the comms in the episode are very strange, because we find out they've been faked, and it's like, well, how could they be faked? You got the Commodore referring to the captain as Jim. How would the Gorn know this? I mean, I guess they could if they've got good intel and stuff like that. But it opens a can of worms, and I'm sat here with way too many questions. Just remove the comms. Everything that happens on the planet when they beam down is fine. I would keep it. I'd even keep the red shirt death, which is quite stupid. The red shirt stands up and kind of yells and then wonders why he gets vaporized. Well, he probably doesn't wonder, but I was wondering why he decided to start shouting and giving away his position. But I'd keep that, because people make mistakes all the time, and you'd imagine in the heat of battle, in a suddenly stressful situation, people make mistakes, so I'd keep it. I'd also I'd keep the off-screen death of the other member of the away team. I quite like that. Not death, but the idea that people can die suddenly in a combat situation kind of adds to the harsh reality of the situation. I'd keep all that. I would also keep the Enterprise leaving orbit to pursue the enemy craft. I would keep that, because basically what that does is that takes the Enterprise out of the story for the episode. The Enterprise isn't needed here, and also what it would do is it would kind of heighten the dramatic stakes because the away team, they don't have any support now. So I'd keep that. I like that. That is quite crucial to this big change here, because obviously in the final episode, the finished episode, Kirk, the away team, they're successfully beamed back aboard, and we get this chase sequence. We get the ideological clash between Kirk and Spock, which makes up, I think, the most intriguing part of the episode. Obviously, that doesn't happen now because of this. We don't have the chase. But what I would have is this kind of back and forth with Kirk and Spock in the midst of this battle, where Kirk is getting increasingly stressed and angry, and we've got to stop these people, we've got to kill them, we need to get revenge. What has happened here? It's a travesty, and you can basically have Spock in the midst of all these bombs going off, going, I know it's not good right now, but we need to be rational here. We need to think about this, and we need to try and make peace and open a dialogue. And that would be very kind of on brand for Spock. So you can still have that. But I would basically have it that Kirk is through maybe, a shell goes off and explodes and separates Kirk from the rest of the away team. And that would basically put us in this situation where Kirk would come across a Gorn. So he's separated, he's wandering around because maybe he's dazed, his equilibrium's kind of shot. He hasn't got a communicator or a phaser because in the, maybe tumbled down a rock face or something like that. I mean, you could do something like that. We know that the Gorn are essentially camped up on the rocks that look quite similar to the rocks that we'd see at Vasquez Rock, so I'm assuming the location was quite similar. I could look it up, but I'm not going to. So we know the Gorn are there. So Kirk's stumbling around, he comes across a single Gorn, and that sets up this fight that happens. That you can keep the fight, you can have it. People that love this fight scene, even though it's rubbish, you can keep it in. So, and I really wouldn't change much here either. So, but what have I got rid of? I've gotten rid of the chase. I've gotten rid of the Metrons. I've gotten rid of them. They're gone. I don't need them. No one needs them. They're a redundancy, so they're gone. You go straight into the fight scene, and you need something to kind of fill the time, because I'm cutting a lot of stuff out. What do I put in? Well, you can have it that Spock and the away team are able to continue the attack, and there's an attack, and it all goes quite quiet from the Gorn's side of things. So Spock and the away team decide to advance on that location, but Spock, maybe he could continue the dramatic kind of tense ideological battle that he was having, but he could do that with maybe McCoy, who is tending to the injuries suffered by the away team and the guy they encountered, and they lose that guy, so that could make things a little bit more, you could get a bit more drama out of that. And McCoy and Spock are the ones that are clashing on Spock's like, we need to establish a dialogue, and McCoy's like, no, let's get after them, let's get our revenge. I've lost people here, I don't want to lose anyone else. And that you could basically, McCoy is not he's not being logical here, because he doesn't want to lose any more, but he wants to get revenge and keep the fight going, and I think that could be quite on point and on character for McCoy. Anyway, they advance in towards the Gorn location, and they find out there, they discover Gorn women and children, essentially a Gorn camp, women and children, and they learn the truth that the Gorn were there first. They're the indigenous population. The Federation, the colonists, are the ones that have essentially invaded. So you're keeping that part. And you could have McCoy realising that, and you could have this whole kind of learning moment for him. A Gorn that they encounter happens to be a Gorn that knows English and can speak the language and is able to kind of give us some exposition. And through this, we can then find out that maybe a member of their own was lost during the battle. And what you have is a mirroring where the humans, the Federation, they've lost someone, the Gorn, they've lost someone, and it just so happens that the two are fighting it out of Vasquez Rocks, and they're trying to kill each other. And the Gorn doesn't know English, so I completely cut that out. I love Ted Cassidy, but would cut that out. Gorn doesn't speak English. Kirk doesn't understand lizard growls and stuff like that. So there's no communication, so they're fighting. Nice Trekking concept, right? Another aspect of the episode that I'm not the biggest fan of is Kirk's very clunky finding gunpowder and, oh, look, some diamonds. Oh, but I wish I had a knife. But you'd still keep that in, but you're not doing the whole communicator thing. Kirk's just finding stuff and he's remarking about, oh, that's interesting. I'd still have him build this gunpowder cannon thing that ultimately takes out the Gorn. And I would probably, even though it's something I don't like, I would still probably have Kirk's change of heart where he goes from about to kill the Gorn to, no, something doesn't feel right here. But maybe what I would do is I would set something up earlier on in the episode to suggest that Kirk is starting to doubt things. Maybe there's a moment where the Gorn could have killed him but didn't, because maybe he was having doubts of his own as well. So there could be a seed of doubt being sowed there. But you still have Kirk essentially, trying to survive, takes the Gorn out with the cannon, and he's just about to finish him off with that dagger knife thing, and then he has the moment. He's just like, no, this doesn't feel right. This isn't who I am. This isn't what Starfleet's all about. And he throws the dagger away. And as he does that, you can have Spock and the Gorn and the away team, and they come over a ridge or something, and they come together, they explain the whole thing, and and then it's basically a nice kind of happy ending, and there's a what's happened here has been bloody and it's been a horrible misunderstanding, but we're on our way to peace. That'd be a very nice Trekkian ending, and cuts out the Metrons, cuts out all that shit, but you're still able to keep the dramatic elements that I think make the episode quite appealing. And yes, you can keep the Gorn fight scene as slow and as laboured as it is. So that's how I would rewrite Arena. How would you? What do you think? Do you think that makes sense? How would you do it? Do you like Arena? Tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more videos like this. Would you like me to have a go at rewriting another episode of Star Trek? Please don't, because this is a mess. Thank you for watching. Until the next one, stay well and live long and prosper.